Welcome. Hare Krishna. Good to see you all. Thank you all for coming. So welcome to harekrishnavalley.com.au. We are a spiritual retreat center and we promote natural living and higher thinking. And we're trying to teach the world a positive alternative of how to live in this world without chaos and without problems in the world. Because you see the world at the moment is problematic. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
I think most of you agree. Yeah. The world's a little bit problematic, and unfortunately it gets more problematic in the next 10 years. Do you know that old song, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet? You know the song I'm talking about? Yeah. Unfortunately that's true, because if you think it's a little problematic now, just wait 10 years and see the problems are going to escalate in the world. Because they're creating a network of problems, and it's like a domino effect. When one thing takes place, then it leads to another, and it's just going to be more and more problems. So that's all the good news for you here today. You've come here for peace and happiness. So there is an alternative. I was explaining this to someone just before we came in here, that we don't need to have these problems in the world. What is required is common sense. You know, we could work out the problems in the world within about 15 minutes, honestly, because if you just have some common sense and some understanding of how we should live, like the way we live here, if you come and stay with us, you'll see, it's a different type of environment, right? We have a spiritual focus, and that's what's missing in the world at this point in time. There's a lack of spirituality, true spirituality. Actually, there's a prediction that all the spirituality in the world will merge into one form in due course of time, which is real spirituality, which in the ancient teachings of India is called Sanatan Dharma. You know this word Sanatan? What does it mean? Sanatana. Some of you might know. Sanatan. Eternal. Eternal. Yeah, because, and Dharma, you know this word Dharma? Dharma means?
Religion.
Yeah, religion, that's one definition. Righteous behavior or proper conduct, that's Dharma. Or acting properly, that's Dharma. How should the soul act? Because we are the soul. This is the first point, which is taught in the Bhagavad Gita in the ancient teachings of India. We are the soul. The body is temporary. The body is just a vehicle which we're in right now. But the body will demise very soon, actually. If you look in eternal time, the body only lasts for a very short period. Yeah, you might live for 100 years. That's not very long if you're looking at eternality. So what is the soul's occupational duty? What should the soul be doing? The soul is meant to serve. Seva. Jivera Srupahoy Krishnera Nichadas. We're meant to serve. But real spirituality means that we understand who we are the soul, and we begin to serve primarily the supreme entity. Some people call this God, some call it the universe, we say Krishna. So by serving Krishna, then the soul will feel in its truest position. It will feel like it has the satisfaction which it is yearning for. Because everyone's looking for happiness. I think that's a fair statement. In the Vedas we say Anandamayo Vyasat, which means everyone is searching for happiness. But unfortunately everyone's trying to find it in the wrong place. And when you try to find happiness in the wrong place, what happens? You don't feel satisfied. Just like a fish. If you take a fish out of water and you put it on a banana lounge and you give it some Coca-Cola and you give it a ghetto blaster, right? And you say, how are you enjoying yourself? Right? And the fish is just looking at you, and all he's thinking is, put me back in the water. Right? I'll never be happy here. So similarly, the soul, who we are, will never be happy in this material existence, because we don't belong here. We belong in another world. There's a whole other world, which people call the spiritual world or heaven, or in our tradition we say Goloka Vrindavan. So when the soul enters back into that realm, then we feel the true happiness that we're actually looking for. So what we teach here at Hare Krishna Valley is how to enter back into that spiritual realm by practicing Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means eternal spiritual practices, which is everything we do here. It's called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means eternal spiritual practices for the satisfaction of Krishna. Right? And when you act and practice those things, you will feel the happiness that you're looking for. So that's our mission. That's what we're teaching here. So it's a positive alternative, because the world is becoming chaotic. And as I was explaining earlier, there's no need for it. There's no need for this chaos. It just means people are not using common sense. They're not acting properly. They're not understanding their spiritual nature and acting according to that spiritual nature. Because when you do, you become peaceful. And everything around you becomes harmonious. And that's practical. You can actually live like that. There's no need for the world to be like it is, chaotic and so forth. And we're talking about mental health before. Mental health is, since 2020, since COVID began, mental health escalated. In 2020, 33%. Right? And since then, it's going up and up and up and up continuously. And as I was explaining before, there's no need for anyone to have mental health problems. Right? You only have mental health problems when you're disconnected from your source. When you're not acting the way that you should be according to your true spiritual nature. Right? Then you have mental health problems. So it's unfortunate that the world is like this. But what we're trying to teach is a positive alternative. There is an alternative. You don't have to live like that. I became a monk when I was 19. The reason I became a monk when I was 19 is because I saw that modern society was not offering real peace and harmony. What was the point of me just following along like everyone else? I was an acting student. I was studying acting in Melbourne. But I saw that the people I was doing modelling to make some money, but I saw the people I was associating with, they weren't happy. So I thought, what's the point of this? Why should I just keep following this path and just live in a materialistic way of life? And then at the end of my life, I just look back and think, well, I didn't really solve the problems of life. What are the actual problems of life? Why are we here? What is this for? Where are we meant to be? These are the questions that we need to answer. So when I met the monks when I was 19, and then I thought, no, actually they have the answers. I should also follow like this. And then I took up that path. My actual intention was to do it for 2 years. And then 35 years later, I'm still doing it. Because I feel whole and satisfied. So when you feel like that, then you continue on your spiritual path. So what we teach here is how to become spiritually satisfied, spiritually happy, so that we can actually get real answers to the problems of life which people are facing. Now, I just got back from India 10 days ago. I had an extraordinary trip because usually I go to India once a year for a pilgrimage, a sacred pilgrimage. And I take people with me. I run a tour every year through 3 of our holy places. This is in November, most years I go. However, this was an extraordinary trip because my wife's guru passed away 1 year ago. And it was the 1 year anniversary of his disappearance. So we gathered around the world, 300 or 400 of his disciples and followers. They came from around the world. And we had a festival and we inaugurated his tomb, which we call a samadhi. Samadhi means like a sacred tomb. So we inaugurated that, and then we stayed there for nearly 2 weeks in India. And it was an extraordinary trip for me on many levels. I got many realizations. Because the point of spiritual life is to always be growing and always to be getting fresh realizations. The soul, who we actually are, is not static. The soul is ecstatic. Ecstatic means always moving, always progressing. If you feel static or stagnant in your life, that means there's something wrong with your application of your spiritual journey. Because you should always feel that you are evolving and growing. So in this 2 weeks I was there in India, in the sacred place of Vrindavan, I felt like there was so much growth, so many fresh realizations. One of the nice elements of going and being there was, normally I take a tour. So I normally have a group of people with me. And on this particular occasion for the 2 weeks, I didn't have anyone to look after, which was nice. It felt different to be in a holy place and just have a relaxed experience, in the sense that I didn't have to continuously think, where are the people that I need to assemble, take out, and show them the relevant holy places. And I could just follow along the program of the other spiritual teachers who were there. So it was very eye-opening for me. And one thing that I realized from some of our gurus who I was spending time with is the essence of spiritual life is Nam Sankirtan. What is Nam Sankirtan? Anyone notice this? Nam Sankirtan. Sankirtan means congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna, which is what we did just a few minutes ago. Hands up if you felt that was like an uplifting experience. Yeah, quite a few of you. You felt like it was an uplifting experience. This is the essence of the Hare Krishna movement, right? Is this process of dancing and chanting together. And actually, it is predicted the whole world will one day do it, right? All the other spiritual groups will merge into that process, because the process is so powerful that when you practice it, right, it automatically evaporates or alleviates all of your anxieties. They disappear, right? It's not possible to be anxious or to be depressed or so forth while you're engaged in Sankirtan, in that congregational chanting. This is something you can do in your own home. If you're feeling a little depressed, do you ever feel a little depressed sometimes, a little bit down? Sometimes you might feel like that. So all you have to do is just put your hands in the air, right? Dance around your kitchen table and just say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. If it doesn't work, if you don't immediately feel spiritually uplifted, we'll give your money back. We have a money back guarantee on this process. It works. It actually works. I've been doing it for many years. And when I was there in India, we really got into it. There was hundreds of us. And we came together and we chanted together. On one day at the boat festival in Vrindavan, I was chanting with 1,000 devotees. All simultaneously, we were all chanting together. And the power and the potency of that chanting, you see it immediately evaporates all of your anxiety or distress. So this is the potency. So this is one of the things that we're teaching here at this Krishna's Otway retreat at Hare Krishna Valley. So another thing I learned in the holy place when I went there is that you have to look after your machine, your yantra, or your material body. Because as soon as I got to India, it was a very interesting trip, because I arrived there. The day I arrived there, I got sciatica. My lower back just locked up. And I was laying on the bed for 24 hours. I couldn't even get off the bed. So this was another thing that I realized. You have to look after your machine. Because the month before I left, I wasn't doing my core exercises as much as I should have been. I neglected it because I was busy and there was a lot going on. We had a colour festival and a boat festival and so many festivals and another festival, and my whole life's a festival, which is great. But I was neglecting my body. Not grossly, but enough. And then as soon as I got there, my lower back just locked up. So one of the realizations I got is that, because I'm 54 now, I'm not young anymore, that if you don't look after the machine, right, then you'll have problems. And you can't practice spiritual life if your machine's not in good working order, because that's all the body is. It's just like your car. You have to service your car on time. Now, hands up if you service your car on time. Hands up if you don't. Yeah, so we like it when people are honest like that. So some people don't, but then what happens if you don't service the car on time? It's going to have problems. It's going to have problems. The same with your body. It's going to have problems. So while you're in this world, you can only get out of this world when you realize you're in this world. In other words, you have to learn to live properly here so that you can go to the other world. So it means you have to look after your body, you have to do all these things so that you can become spiritually enlightened. That is the goal of life, to become spiritually enlightened. If you don't become spiritually enlightened, the ancient teachings of India say, Shrama eva hi kevalam, your life was a useless waste of time. That's quite a heavy statement. Your life was a useless waste of time. If you don't become spiritually enlightened, then what's the point of your life? Just like our good friend Donald Trump, he says, he who dies with the most toys wins. That's one of his philosophies. That's not a very good philosophy. What he should be saying is, the goal of life is to become spiritually enlightened. Make America spiritually enlightened again. And that should be his motto, but we don't hear people saying that. It's unfortunate. Actually, he did do some service for the Hare Krishna movement. We have a chariot festival. One of our festivals is called the Rath-Yatra, or the Chariot Festival. And many years ago in Manhattan, Donald Trump let us keep our chariot, which is quite large. He let us keep it on one of his pieces of real estate in Manhattan, one of his blocks of land, and he didn't charge us anything. So he did some spiritual service, which is to his benefit. But in general, right, he's not the most enlightened person on the planet. So what's the point of his life? Shrama eva hi kevalam. When you're dead, you can't take anything with you. Sometimes people have this notion that we can take things with us, just like in China. They dug up the clay army. Right? Have you seen the archaeological pictures? What are they called?
Terracotta warriors.
Terracotta warriors. Why are all those terracotta warriors there? Because the emperor, when he dies, they're meant to go with him in the next life to protect him. But there's only one problem. Actually, there's two problems. There's many problems, actually. One of the problems is they're terracotta, so they can't do anything for you. It's like taking your pot plants somewhere. They can't. Hey, protect me. Hey, pot plant. They can't do anything. So they're just terracotta. They don't actually do anything. And secondly, these things don't follow you into your next life. You travel alone into your next life. Your soul goes to its next life by itself. You don't take anything with you. Right? The last suit doesn't have any pockets. Right? When they put you in your coffin, you can't stash things down the side. Or I'll take a Snickers bar for later. So when I get to my next life, at least I've got a snack. Right? It doesn't work like that. When you go, you're gone. Right? It's only your soul, and that is it. And according to your karma, because Krishna actually says in the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam. Whatever you remember at the time of death, that state you will attain without fail. So whatever you're meditating on at the time of death, that's what you will go to. And what do you meditate on at the time of death? Right? When you're about to die, your life flashes before your eyes. You know this experience? You may have had it. If you've had a near-death experience, your life, it's like everything goes into slow motion, and everything, you see your whole life flash before your eyes. So when you die, you see everything that happened in your life, and your mind takes refuge of the thing that gives you shelter, the thing that makes you feel the most comfort. So for many people, that's our spouse or our children or our dog called Louie, or our jacuzzi or our helicopter or your skyscraper built, whatever it is, right? Whatever we're attached to, that's what we will meditate upon. And then according to your karma, if you've been a good person, then you will receive good karma. That desire will take you to your next life, and you'll receive the fruits of those activities. However, if you've been a bad person, which some people are not good, then in your next life, you'll be born according to your desire, and all those negative karmas will follow you. And that explains why the world is like it is. Why are some people born in a good situation, some people born in a bad situation? Why are some people rich, some are poor? Why, some are beautiful, some are ugly. Some are intelligent, some are not. Why is all that? That's our karma from the previous life. So whatever you're meditating on, that's what you will attain in your next life. This is free entertainment. This is on the house. This comes along with the class today. So whatever you're meditating on, that will take you to your next life. However, in the Hare Krishna movement, we're teaching people not to be born again in this world. We don't want to be born again. Right? We want to transcend this material world. Because this material world is a place of suffering. Dukkalayam ashashvatam, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Dukkalayam means dukkalaya. Dukkalaya means it's a place of misery. There's a lot of misery in this world. So when you're born again, you have to face so much misery once again. And ashashvatam means temporary. Everything in this world is temporary. So you're born again in this world, you'll live another life which is temporary, and then you'll go into another life which is temporary, and then that's the nature of this world. So in the Hare Krishna movement, we teach people to transcend birth and death, right? To go back into the spiritual dimension which our soul belongs in. And then you don't have to worry about being born again and again in this material world. So these are some of the things that I learned while I was in India. That you have to look after your body, because your body is to facilitate your enlightenment. So we're meant to develop these things. Another thing I learned or realized is you have to spend time with people who are close to you, quality time. Just like my wife and I, we just spent the 2 weeks together in India, right? And it was very beneficial for our relationship, because we went there to focus on our spirituality. And when you spend quality time together in a spiritually focused way, it deepens the relationship, right? And makes it more meaningful. And then everything becomes more pleasant in this world also. So these are the different things that I was realizing while I was traveling, even though I went to a spiritual place, but then so many other realizations came as well. So we're meant to have a spiritual purpose for our existence in this material world. Otherwise, your life just becomes a waste of time. What are we actually achieving? You have to ask yourself, what are we actually achieving in this world? Right? Are you just becoming rich? Some people say, well, I was a good person. That's nice. You're a good person, but does that lead to enlightenment? Right? It helps to get to enlightenment by being a good person, but unless you're focused on spirituality, you may not actually reach full enlightenment. So these are some of the things that I've realized in the last few weeks.
So nice.
I thought I would share some of these things with you while we're here. Does anyone have any questions or comments about anything that we've been discussing, or anything you'd like to know about spiritual life, spiritual journey? Then you can ask. We can try to answer. Yes, madam.
I have one question. Well, it's a query, really.
Yeah.
I have a mother who's 103 this month.
Yeah.
And she keeps telling me that she's lived this long because she's such a bad person. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
She's not a bad person. So why does she keep saying that I'm a bad person? And she's been through all sorts of different things. The Krishna movement, the original Christianity, etc., and yet she thinks that she's such a bad person. I keep saying, you're not a bad person. Well, she says, I want to die, I want to go. And I said, well, you can't, you have to wait. So, what should I say to her in this kind of a spiritual enlightenment? What do you say to someone?
I mean, I don't know her, so I can't really pass judgment upon why she's saying that she's a bad person, because obviously she's not. Well, she's a really bad person. That's a different thing, so she's not. As for why she's saying that, I can't say, because I don't know her. I don't know the circumstances and everything. As for what I would say to her, if she's 103, yeah, what I would say chant Hare Krishna. That's what I would honestly say. Because when you chant Hare Krishna, you're focusing on the names of God Himself, which leads to remembrance or focus on God. And as I just said, the goal of our life is to transcend this world. And she's that far away from transcending. You know, she's about to either leave and go into another body, or she could transcend. So if she can understand that the goal, it's up to her intent, what her goal is. You know, if she wants to go to Krishna, because what's the point of living 103 years, or 50 years, or 70 years? What's the point of living if we don't understand what the goal of life was? Yeah, you can mention these things. You can mention these things. But this is the goal. The goal is that at the end of my life, you know, I want to chant the names of Krishna in my final breath, and fix my mind there, because I don't want to be born again in this world. I want to go to a higher place. So it doesn't happen automatically. It's like, you know, you didn't get here today automatically. You didn't just go into your car. You had to understand. You had to go on Google Maps. Okay, where is the place? How to find it? You know, direct it and get here like that. It's not automatic. Some people think spirituality is automatic. You know, just follow whatever path you want. Everything just leads to the same place. No, it doesn't. That's like saying, just drive out the front gate and you'll get to Darwin. No, you won't. There's a road to Darwin. You might get to Sydney or Adelaide or Perth or Tasmania. Right? Not all the roads just lead to the same place. So in the same way in spirituality, you have to be very clear. It has to be very defined what it is you're looking for. Right? And then you have to focus on that if you want to attain it. So that would be my advice, because that's my life's realization. I would say, you know, focus on Krishna at this point. And I think you said she's had some contact with Krishna, so she's not foreign to the concept. So you can say, you know, you went to the Hare Krishnas on the weekend, you spoke to them, and that was their advice. And then, you know, if she wants to take it up, that's up to her. Whatever she wants. But we wish her all the best on her journey like that. I mean, 103 is remarkable. And to still have your wits about you when you're 103. So, yeah. So also send this, there's a personal message. We also say she's not a bad person. Because, I mean, and she shouldn't be thinking and feeling like that at that point in time. You know, no, you're not a bad person. You know, you've lived your life, you've discovered many things, and now it's time to understand what the goal of life is. So, yeah. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one.
Yes.
Last month, I had a very hard time. My dad passed away. I can't go back to Nepal, the funeral ceremony. But this time, I want to make myself strong. And then I start to chanting at home. And then I need to forget him. And then I just see myself. I am part of my dad's body, and then I want to forget his, you know, all the time coming. Yeah, and then today is the maybe 20th of March he away. Yeah, maybe 22 days today. Yeah, I just make myself strong and keep chanting nowadays. And can you give me little bit idea to focus more devotees?
Little bit idea to what?
Can you give me some ideas how to focus more devotees?
How to focus?
Hare Krishna.
Focus more on Krishna?
Yeah.
It's the same answer that we give. That it's the chanting process. It's when we chant like we were doing before, and also we chant on beads in a meditative way on a daily basis, which we call japa, japa. So when you're engaged and absorbed in the chanting, then this is what connects you to Krishna. That's why we do it. That's why it's our main process. Because if you're chanting someone's name regularly, you think of the person. So if I say, someone that you know, if I say your father's name, you will think of him. Right? If I say someone's name, you'll think of the person. So that's why we chant the names of Krishna, because it habituates us to think of him. So that's the process. That's what we do. Yeah. And then also we recommend reading books like the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. So by reading books like the Bhagavad Gita, that will also help you to focus your mind and to focus yourself spiritually. So these are the different things. And then come to our temple in Melbourne or come here to our Hare Krishna Valley on a regular basis. And then you can also associate with people, devotees or people who are spiritually focused. That will help you on your spiritual journey also. These are some things we can. Is it okay?
Can I also recommend something?
Yeah.
A nice thing to maybe do also too is, I don't know if you have it, the Krishna book. The book, it's all about Krishna and about his pastimes in the spiritual world. And because the name Krishna means all attractive. So when you read and actually learn about Krishna, what he looks like, what he does, and you become very attracted. And if your mind becomes attracted to that, you will think, when you're not reading it, you're doing other things, but you might think, oh yeah, this happens and, Krishna does this, or he looks like this, and you can help meditate on parts, on his form or his pastimes, and that can help the mind also become more attracted. And it's nice, you can read at night, so when you're doing other things, your mind can think about Krishna, because you know now from reading what he's like. So it's easier for your mind to go there rather than being distracted. Yeah. But we sell that in the shop. It's very sweet, it's very nice. But yeah, that's something I would suggest as well, to develop that personal relationship and for meditation.
It's very nice for a government teacher, retired, nearly 70 years old. Suddenly.
But the process takes time too. So let yourself have that time as well. It takes time.
Yeah, it takes time.
Any other questions?
Do you need water?
No, okay, sorry.
That's okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
How come is it 108 beats on the map? How come it's that number?
Yeah. It's not on this mala, not on these beads.
Yeah.
These beads, we just put enough beads so it fits around your neck. In this case 3 times. So I actually don't know how many. Tonight I'll go and count. I'll send you a WhatsApp message. 348 beads. But on the japa mala, does anyone have their mala? Their japa beads? No one has them? Okay. So we have the mala we can see in our shop. And there's 108 beads. So you'll see there's one bead which has like the piece of string on it that represents Krishna, God. Because when we're chanting and meditating, we chant one mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We chant one mantra on each bead. So there's 108 beads, and then we go around to Krishna, who's the central bead, and then we go back, because our chanting is meant to take us to Krishna. That's the point. Now, why 108? There's different reasons. The number is said to be the most auspicious number. So you see in Buddhism and different traditions, the number 108 comes up again and again. It's said to be like the pinnacle of numbers. The number has the most good fortune attached to it. Krishna has 108 gopis. So you see Krishna's with his lady friends in the pictures. So there's 108 principal gopis who he's with. There's also 108 Upanishads. Upanishads means the sacred texts from India. So there's so many different meanings to the number 108. So yeah, we chant 108 times. We chant 108 mantras, and then we call that one round. And then we chant 16 times a round a day, which ends up being about 25,000 names of God that you're chanting in a day. Like that. So that's our daily practice. Yeah, so the number 108 is considered to be very auspicious. Brings good fortune. So. And I'll let you know tonight. I have so, thanks. Any other questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, madam.
You try to elaborate. So I've been seeking like this kind of spiritual life for a year now because I was raised as an atheist. So since I came to Australia, so first thing that I found was Hare Krishna because my friends here love
Sister.
But it still is like something that I don't want to miss out of the world. So it's a constant dilemma inside me. Like, do I want this spiritual world, but also I enjoy the rest of the world and, I don't know, music and, pleasures of the world, whatever it is. So is there a way to live in the border? Should I just go straight and be spiritual? That's like I enjoy this. I find peace, and I find like I found my place in the world. But at the same time, I have that, the dilemma.
Yeah.
So how to fix that?
How to fix the dilemma.
How to fix the dilemma?
So you have to go and move into an ashram and become a nun. Any other questions? Okay, so I'll give you the actual answer. So it's the same for everyone in this world. Your good friend Cielo, who now we call her Chaitanya Lila, that's her spiritual name. So she actually met the Hare Krishna people at this farm in 2012. She walked in here, and then that changed her life, and then she became a spiritual practitioner. Now she's helping to change other people's lives like that. So thank you, sister, for your contribution. So that's incredible that you were an atheist in Colombia, and then you came to Australia, and Australia is the most spiritually enlightened place in the world. So now you became also spiritually enlightened. This is what happens with our 26 million people population here. They're all spiritually enlightened. No, it just means that we can meet it anywhere. It's very interesting because many people from India, which is where our tradition comes from, they actually make contact with it and actually become absorbed in it when they come to Australia. Or they might go to America or Canada or England or Europe or so many places. So wherever we get this opportunity and whenever we meet this tradition, it's good fortune. It says in the ancient teachings, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyamana Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij, which means that you become a Bhagyavan Jeev, which means fortunate. It's good fortune that you came in contact with genuine spirituality. Now, what is the proof that the spirituality is genuine? Because 12 months ago you were an atheist, and now you believe that Krishna, a blue cowherd boy, is God. That's a remarkable change in life. So this means it is genuine spirituality, because it's changed you, it's created a revolution in your heart. So now you've come in contact with this, and as you said, it gives you peace, it gives you happiness, it gives you meaning in life, which you felt like you were lacking before. And now you have to find how to have the balance, right? So the most important thing is that you practice on a daily basis. Just like my wife and I last year with our daughter, we went to Europe. So we went to Italy, the three of us together. They were traveling for 7 weeks. I flew over there for 2 weeks just to meet them in Italy, and we traveled around Italy. But while we're traveling around Italy, we still have our spiritual practices, right? We don't give those things up. We still practice our spirituality. It's not like everything disappears, but we enjoy ourselves at the same time. You know, we go to the Colosseum, we go to Venice, we go to Lake Como, and we go to Leonardo da Vinci's museum. We had a special pastime there at Leonardo da Vinci's museum. So, you know, we go to these places. It's not like we're not enjoying this world, but it doesn't mean you give up all your. You see it through a different perspective now. Different perspective. Like you have a different vision about what the world is about. Right? In other words, how you treat other people, your spiritual vision of the world, your respect. You know, like we're all vegetarian. We only eat food which is offered to Krishna. So we have that spiritual perspective on life. So we carry that wherever we go in our journey. And then most of the year, we dedicate ourselves to, you know, running a place like this, which is a spiritual haven, where people can come, like all of you did today. You came to this spiritual place. You're becoming more enlightened because you're listening to a spiritual discourse now. Whether you agree with it or not, that's up to you. But you're definitely going to walk away with something today that benefited you. So we spend most of our time doing this, but it's not like we don't enjoy the world. We enjoy the world. Like it's nice weather, we go to the beach, we do all these things. It's all there. So you don't have to live like a life which is one or the other. You don't have to become a nun and move into the ashram and, you know, and we call you sister. Like our good friend Cielo and like that. Does that answer what you're...
Yes.
It's okay? Your mind is peaceful now? Yeah. Yeah, it means because it's the same for all of us. In the beginning, it is like that. It is a little confusing. Oh, how do I do it all? You know, I'm supposed to give up materialism, but I'm still attracted to certain things in this world. You just have to have a balance. But the main thing is that you see your Krishna consciousness or your spiritual life is always growing. And over time, you may have to give up certain things, but it has to come naturally. Like sometimes you'll just feel like, you know, why do I keep doing this thing? I keep doing it, but it doesn't really give me happiness anymore, so then you give it away. It's like, you know, sometimes you have to go into your wardrobe and you have to look, there's old clothes there. You know, you have to get rid of them, you know, because there's no space in the wardrobe anymore. Sometimes you have to get rid of things. So in your life, sometimes you have to do that as well. Okay, this thing's not helping my spirituality, but you have to do it naturally. Because if you give something up artificially, you'll keep thinking about it. Right? And then that's called Markat Vairagya. It's called monkey renunciation. Right? The monkeys look very renounced. They're naked, they don't wear clothes, they jump around in the trees, they eat fruits, so they look like they're sages. But all they think about is having sex with the other monkeys. Right? We were just in Vrindavan, which is the land of the monkeys. Yeah, they're all there. And they're crazy guys. Like you can see, they have sex on the street. Like here's sex on the street. You know, they have like sex and they run off and they fight with another monkey. Yeah, it's like...
Take away the glasses.
Yeah, take your glasses. Yeah, they're thieves, they steal things. But they're not well-behaved citizens of the state. Right? So we don't want to be Markat Vairagya, where we act like we're all spiritual, but inside we're thinking, oh, you know, I wish I could eat chocolate one more time. Oh, you know, I wish I could listen to Coldplay just one more time. Oh, it's like, you know, all these material desires in your head, like that. So you don't want to be like that. You have to give things up naturally. That's all. Is that okay? Yeah. Very nice question. Any other questions? I'll take first and then I'll go to...
I just wanted to make a comment.
Oh, yeah, please. You go. No, you go first and then...
No, just something that kind of helps as well is like, as Atulia was saying, when we read in the book, in Krishna book, or when we come in contact with other part of the scriptures, when it describes Krishna's form and how can we see Krishna in everything, like it also helps just to see this world is his creation. And like many times we hear like, of course it's going to attract us, and of course we're going to be weak about it and fall because it's his smile, you know, and that was the best part of someone. His smile, you know, it says that this material world is Krishna's smile. And then when we try to acquire knowledge by reading and by studying the scriptures, then you get to see that, okay, why is he facilitating all of that? You know, what he wants us to attract us in which way. we want to use the ocean, or we want to use the forest, or we want to use, because he said everything is described how Krishna's, the forest is Krishna's hair, you know, the rivers, the ocean is like his veins, and like, it's very beautiful when we start reading that, because we see that he's everywhere, you know, and then obviously, okay, slowly you've made that exchange, okay, I don't want to feel like doing this anymore, you know. So sometimes it comes back and you feel like doing it again after many years. So, but like, okay, that knowledge is now there. Like, and he said also, you cannot know what you know once you read it. That's very powerful, and that's one of the things that I remember the most when I joined the ashram. One of my friends in that country said that. It's like, we know now, we can't just run away and ignore all of these things, you know. It's like, not in a bad way. Knowledge is very powerful in any field in life. We know that, so, and we're meant to be not studying about spirituality, as you said, that's what we are. That otherwise it's such a waste to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, sister. You had a question?
It's an awful question.
That's okay. We take all sorts of questions.
For people who live here or in the valley all the time with you, how do you afford a flight to Europe? How do you live? How do you feed yourselves for the week, the month, the year, etc.?
Yeah, it's a nice question. So there's only 4 of us living here full time, right? So there's myself, Atoya, my wife, there's Maggie, and there's Mani, who's in the kitchen. He's been cooking for us. So the 4 of us are full time. Then we have volunteers who come, and they come and stay with us here as well. So Mani, Griva and myself, we're paid by the Hare Krishna movement to run this place. So that's how we can afford it, because we're paid. So I say, it's just like we have a job. This is our job. Our job is to be spiritual. So this is what I do. Like, you know, I organize retreats. You know, I organise like days like this, open days. It's great. This particular open day was quite a funny one, an interesting one, because about 2 days ago, we only had 5 people who brought tickets. And we sell the tickets because then we know how many people are coming, and then we can cook according to how many people. So then we were debating amongst ourselves, you know, should we run it or not? There's only 5 people coming. So I said to everyone, oh, let's just wait till Saturday afternoon and then we'll make a call. And then, you know, I checked it yesterday, late Saturday, and there was about 19 tickets, and then it went up to about 26. And if anyone didn't buy a ticket, then if you want to come and see me afterwards, you can give a donation for coming. That would be appreciated. So this is how we make our income, because, you know, I organise these events, and Mani Griva, he cooked our lunch today, so he cooks for us. He looks after the cows along with his wife Maggie, and they look after the property. So yeah, it's a job. You know, so we get paid for doing our job just like anyone else. So like I'm a priest technically, you know, and Mani's a farm manager, so we get paid for what we do. So that's how we afford to go to Europe, and you know, and yeah, because it costs money to live. Yeah, so we're just like everyone else. This is my job. That's all. You know, it's a good job to have. Same as any job. It's not without challenges. Like living here is not without challenges. There's only 4 of us. There's 200 acres. Does it sound easy? It's 50 acres each. Right? This is my 50 acres here. How's it look? Pretty good. Right? Go and look at their 50 acres over there. So we all have. It is our job like that. So you know, it's not without challenges. You know, even though we're spiritual people and we live in a very beautiful place, but you know, there's hard work involved, just like with anyone in the world. So yeah, we get paid for doing our job. So thank you. It wasn't an awful question. It was a good question. Thank you. Yes, sister.
Yeah, no, I just kind of feel it's good when people come and also like ask things like that. They're to be like, how is it behind the scene? You know, how does the whole organization work? And this is like a company anyway. You know, like we have temples in every main city in the world. Melbourne, we have 3 restaurants that helps also getting the financial part. You know, I was full-timer in the ashram for many years, and it's, yeah, we don't have like big expenses or anything, but the temple supports us during that time that they paid. And I'm from overseas, so obviously every 2 years or so they were sending us to go and see our families, and everything else was provided, the food, the transportation, go to the doctor, the basic things, you know, in that time. I'm not in the ashram anymore, I went back and I work now again, but I try to keep my practice that way. But it's just that, like how the society is organized in different levels, and not everybody has to move into an ashram to be practicing Bhakti Yoga. So that's also another thing, like, because everybody, you know, you're telling my friends that move to the ashram, it's like, I'm not going to quit my job, you know. So you don't have to do that. It's like we can all integrate those practices in our life. Like a big thing is becoming vegetarians to start with, or, you know, then you decide to get up half an hour earlier every day because you want to do a bit of the stretchings, to do, you know, yoga to help you with your body, and chant a few rounds if you can before you go to work. So all of those things, we all can do it without moving to an ashram, because unfortunately the ashram can't hold 200 people right now either. So it's just those options that are there.
Yeah, so you just, and the thing is, you know, like in this world you have a boss. So, you know, I have a boss, like at the Melbourne temple, he's the boss, he's the president of the temple, and he's the one who, you know, facilitates my wage and everything like that. Then above him, there's Prabhupada, who's the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, who's passed away now, but like he's the boss of everyone in our movement, because he set the whole thing up and he gave us the structure. But then above him is Krishna, that's God himself. So, you know, we just do our service to Krishna, to God, and he provides everything we need materially. You know, whatever we need. So if you dedicate your life to Krishna, he will look after you. So, you know, we never feel like there's a lacking. Like everything is provided for us.
I think I asked the question because if people are considering taking this form of spirituality on, you have to question what you leave behind and how do you do it.
How do you? Yeah, well, for most people, like we had a retreat this weekend in Kyneton with one of our gurus. So I actually drove from there this morning, 2 hours to come back for the open day. And, you know, there's 400 Hare Krishnas there. And 98% of them are just living in mainstream society. You know, they run, you know, one of my best friends there works for Telstra, another one works for NAB. You know, they're all like in administrative positions. So it's not so much, as you said, giving up. To become a Hare Krishna, you know, we have this notion you have to give up. It's not you don't have to give up. We change certain things in our life. Like you have to give up eating meat if you're doing that. There's certain principles and practices you have to give up. You don't have to give up your life or what you do in the world, right? But you just have to add the spiritual elements, that's all.
And I don't think that's coming out now, and I didn't get the feeling of that earlier.
Earlier today or earlier?
Today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
From what you were saying and people...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so most of us are just normal people. Most of us are just like, you know, most of the Hare Krishnas are just in the world. Yeah, there's different Hare Krishnas in the world. They're just, you know, living in the world like everyone else. But they have their spiritual practices. And then there's people like me. I'm like if you go to a church, there's the priest. But most of the people in there, they're just congregation. They just come on a weekly basis. So I'm like that. I'm like the priest. I do it full time. But most people just come around, you know, during the week or whatever like that. So, good question. Any other questions?
One more question.
Yes, madam.
About your farm, about your Brahmin, do you milk the Brahmin? Do you have the cows?
The cows.
Are the cows milked?
Yeah.
Or do you make cheese?
Paneer, Indian cheese. Yeah.
Do you sell it?
No. Nice try. That's true.
If you're lucky, you will try it in the lunch now.
But one reason we don't sell the milk or the paneer or the yogurt that we make is because it's illegal. Because the government say all the milk has to be pasteurized and homogenized and everything. So ours is not that, it's raw milk. So for us to sell it, we'd have to go through a whole process. So that's one reason why we don't sell it. What's that?
It's like extra income.
Yeah, I mean, the other reason we don't sell it is because we don't produce a lot of milk, and we either use it here or we use it for our temple in Melbourne. So, you know, we do have friends in the Hare Krishna movement who, in Gippsland on the other side of Melbourne, they run a dairy called Mother Cow Dairy, and I think they have maybe 600 cows, I can't remember, but they actually sell commercial milk from protected cows. So it is available, you can get it. Can you get it in Geelong?
You can get it in Geelong.
You can?
There's an Indian store there.
Okay.
I think Mirabel Street. I could be
Mirabel
wrong,
Street?
But yeah, it's an Indian supply store.
Okay.
And they sell it there.
They sell it there?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you just Google Mother Cow, it'll
Yep.
tell you all the places. There's several places around Melbourne.
Yep. Yeah, so Mother Cow Dairy, if you just do a Google search, you can get the milk.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, it's the main principle is the milk is ahimsa. Yeah, which is non-violent. It means we're not killing the animals, because that's what the commercial dairy industry does. You know, once they're not producing milk, they just slaughter them. Yeah, which is not humane. Yeah, like there was a prime minister a number of years ago called after Bob Hawke. It was Paul Keating. So he ran a pig farm. So we ran, we wrote to him, the Hare Krishnas wrote to him, not myself, but some other Hare Krishnas, they wrote to him, and they said, this is not very good that you run a pig farm, because you're killing the animals, you get the karma, and, you know, we explained the process to him. So we got a letter back, probably wasn't from him, it was probably from his, you know, office, and it said, oh, you don't have to worry because the animals are slaughtered humanely. There's no such thing as humane slaughter. Like if I kill someone in the room now, right? I'm not going to talk. This is an example. I am a monk. You don't kill the people. You don't have to worry today. It's not that kind of feast. So, yeah, if I kill someone in the room today and then I say, oh, and someone says, well, why did you do that? I say, hey, come on, that was humane. You know, I knocked them out very quickly before they didn't feel anything. That's not, they're dead. So, you know, this notion of humane killing, it's no such thing. You're killing someone. Oh no, but I killed them humanely. No, it's no such thing. It's humans just justifying they're actually forbidden activities, because in the ancient teachings it says that the humans are not, even in the Bible, it says God gave man dominion over the animals. Okay, so dominion means you protect, they're in the domain. Doesn't mean you go and start killing everyone in the domain. Right, so, and also in the Bible it says, he who killeth an ox is as if he who killeth a man. So in the Bible it's actually seen the same. And in our teachings it's seen the same. If you kill a cow or kill a human, it's the same reaction, same karma. So, you know, we're trying to teach people these things. So that's the main reason why they have the Mother Cow Dairy, is so you can get milk which is from protected animals. The animals are not slaughtered, so that's important.
There's lots of places. The first thing that comes up if you Google Mother Cow Dairy is where to buy. And in every part of Melbourne, you know, south, east, west. Yeah, in a place in Geelong on Mirabel Street called Just Spice.
Okay.
Indian store, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a positive alternative. So yeah, we can't sell out of that. Only if it was mass produced. Our farm has a different model. Yeah, it's that. It's also the size of our herd. At the moment, there's only 27 animals, so we don't. We're only milking, say, 1 or 2 at a time. So you're not producing a lot. It's not for a commercial. This is not a commercial endeavour. The point of this Goshala, after lunch, we'll take everyone to go and see the cows. Hands up if you'd like to go and see the holy cows. Yeah. So after lunch, we can go and see them. So the point of this Goshala is to show cow protection. How you should protect the animals. How you can live with them peacefully and in harmony. That's our purpose. Yeah, it's the best. Any other questions?
When's lunch? I'm joking.
One track mind.
That's it.
So all she thinks about the Hare Krishna food, the Hare Krishna food.
That's it.
I hear a car come in the middle of the night. Don't think I don't notice these things, Sean. Any other questions?
Maybe all can you talk about the kids maybe? How they devoted the Krishna?
The kids.
Yeah. Little bit few kids here.
How to help the kids become devotees of Krishna. Yeah. The best way to help the kids become devotees of Krishna is to make the experience fun. In other words, don't force them. Don't say you have to come to the temple or you have to do this or you have no, make it fun so they want to. Like in Melbourne, we have a very nice temple and we have many kids groups in the temple where the kids learn about Krishna and different things. And what we find is because we make it fun, the kids actually bring their parents to the temple. They say, when are we going to the temple? Like that. So then they're actually bringing, it works the opposite way. So the most important things with the kids is you don't force them. You know, just it has to be their choice. Like it's our choice. You know, if we want to follow Krishna's teachings, then that's our choice. Same for the kids. You just give them the opportunity, you give them the exposure, but don't force them, that's all. Any other questions? Okay, is anyone hungry? Okay, one guy here. The rest of you, it was nice to see you. Please go and you can. So anyone who wants to give a donation, if you didn't get a ticket today, just come and see me, and then we can work that out. So if you just go out the door, just turn right. We'll serve the feast up here. After the feast, we'll go to the Goshala. So we'll go and visit the sacred cows. Thank you all for coming. Hare Krishna.